Nkiru was pregnant with her 10th baby, afraid it would disappear again. Each time her belly grew, her fear grew with it. 9 times she had gone into labor. 9 times she had held a child who cried, breathed, and seemed real, but each one vanished within days after birth. Her husband, Musa, barely spoke anymore. At night, Nkiru cried and prayed, hoping this time would be different. The villagers now knew her as the woman who lost babies. When the first baby disappeared, they had searched the farms, they accused each other, and eventually Nkiru herself. But nothing was ever found. No body, no trace, just an empty mat and a mother who could not explain what happened while she slept. By the 9th disappearance, the villagers had stopped caring. People gossiped that she ate her children and lied that she couldn't find them. Some said she sold them to men from the city, but none had proof. Now Nkiru was pregnant again. She could barely sleep. She promised herself she wouldn't lose this one. She tied charms around her waist, though she didn't believe in them. Her husband did. Even after losing 9 babies, Nkiru was pregnant with her 10th baby that may or may not survive. This time, she was ready to do anything it took for her baby to survive. A village seer had told her it was her spiritual husband that was responsible, an evil spirit from her mother's village river that wasn't happy she was married and making children. He made her sit inside an old cleansing clay pot for fortification. She drank bitter herbs in the morning and night and avoided fish or anything that came from the river, just as he instructed. She tied charms on her waist and applied the native oil to her stomach every midnight, all just because she wanted a baby to stay. People said openly that Nkiru ate her own children. Her husband heard but said nothing. What could he say? Everyone waited for it to happen again. They waited to fill their ears with Nkiru's misfortune, the way she would scream early in the morning that she could not find her baby. That was how it had all happened 9 times. Nkiru gave birth to her 10th baby in her hut. She named him Samuel. She carried the child on her back when she swept and avoided visitors. No one was allowed to touch Samuel, not even her husband. In the days that followed, Nkiru watched over Samuel without looking away for even a second. When she cooked, she kept Samuel in a basket close to her, never taking her eyes off the baby, sometimes even burning the food she was making. This made Nkiru stop bathing completely. She fed Samuel and felt an overwhelming happiness, even when she had not eaten. All she clung to was hope that Samuel would stay. Days passed, and the baby did not disappear like the other 9. Everyone waited for it to happen again, but Samuel did not vanish. One afternoon, Nkiru felt her skin itching badly. She needed to bathe, but no one was around to hold Samuel, who was sleeping peacefully in her crate. Nkiru hesitated for a moment, then decided to lock the baby inside, secure the doors, and take a quick bath, just 5 minutes. But when she returned, it had happened again. Samuel was gone. Nkiru's 10th baby had just disappeared, just like the other 9. She sat on her mat as her husband consoled her, saying they were going to make another. That was exactly how it had ended 9 times before. And just as the villagers long expected, Samuel, her 10th baby, was gone. That night, Nkiru couldn't sleep. She woke up crying, and that was when she noticed her husband wasn't in the hut. She tried calling his name, but something inside her told her not to. It was probably her instinct. She stood up and peeped through the cracked wall, and that was when she saw her husband sneaking away, carrying something she couldn't see clearly. For a moment, Nkiru stood frozen. It couldn't be what she was thinking. She tried shaking the thought away, but it refused to leave her mind. There was only one way to find out, so she quietly opened the door and followed him, making sure he didn't notice her. Finally, they reached the village river, and that was when Nkiru saw what if someone had told her she would have given the person a dirty slap. Nkiru caught her husband selling their 10th baby to some men in exchange for money at the village river the night their 10th baby went missing. She covered her mouth in disbelief as tears rolled down her cheeks when she saw him. She could never believe he could hurt her this much. She quickly began to scream very loudly, waking almost everyone in the village within a few minutes. Her husband stood in shock as Nkiru rushed forward and grabbed her baby from one of the men's hands. The men quickly ran away with her husband as she stood there helpless, hugging her newborn tightly. When the villagers gathered, Nkiru couldn't speak. It was too shameful to tell the world that the man she had been sharing a home with was the mastermind behind all her problems. All that was left was the baby and the money. She stood up and walked back to her hut as the villagers looked. She knew her husband was never coming back to answer her question about why he did it, but her baby was enough. Most times, our problems are caused by the people who seem to be standing behind us, so never take your instinct for granted. The end.